Down. Tinubu minister resigned over forgery, and now a shocking $2.35 billion loan. Ojyokpe did surface, but here is the real question. Are these signs of reform, or is Tinubu cleaning house to tighten control before 2027? Stay with me, because what is really going on will shock you. Please subscribe and stay to the end.
Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending under milestones. Marking the end of an era, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday, October 7th, accepted the departure of Professor Mahmood Yakubu as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission following the completion of his second term in office after nearly a decade at the helm of Nigeria's electoral body. First appointed in November 2015 as INEC's 14th chairman and reappointed in 2020, Professor Yakubu oversaw a transformative period in Nigerian electoral history, conducting 2 general elections in 2019 and 2023, along with several off-cycle governorship and legislative polls. Presidential spokesman Bayo Ononuga announced that President Tinubu expressed appreciation for Yakubu's services to the nation and his efforts to sustain Nigeria's democracy, particularly through the organization of free and fair elections throughout his 2-term tenure. In recognition of his contributions, the president bestowed the national honor of Commander of the Order of the Niger on the outgoing INEC chairman, a fitting tribute to nearly 10 years of service at one of Nigeria's most critical institutions.
Knowing the enormity of the challenges ahead, having been privileged to serve the Commission for 10 years, with only a few more weeks to serve, I've taken a decision and conveyed same as provided by Section 306, subsections 1 and 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended.
Till we meet again, till we meet.
Where staff members of INEC wishing him a farewell. You know, what defines Yakubu's tenure are the technological innovations he championed to enhance electoral credibility. Under his leadership, INEC introduced the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, and the INEC result viewing portal, IREV, reforms aimed at bringing transparency and reducing electoral manipulation. On Tuesday, Professor Yakubu officially handed over leadership to May Agbamuche-Mbu, the most senior national commissioner, who will oversee the commission's affairs pending the appointment of a substantive chairman. As he departs, his legacy remains the digital transformation of Nigeria's electoral process and the institutionalization of technological safeguards that future INEC leaders will build upon. I'd say congratulations. It's an end of an era, a decade of service. Whether celebrated or criticized, his tenure brought significant technological advancement to our electoral system, Dr. Bati, wouldn't you say? I mean, like I said, whether you liked him or not, I think that he did leave a good legacy in that regard. Your thoughts? I mean, I know that we have had a discussion before about your buying for that position. I wanted to say, but we know we have May right now taking over that position. Yes. Hopefully she gets confirmed. Like we said, she's the most senior officer at the moment at this point. But, you know, I was hoping that we'll have an INEC chairman in you, Dr. Bati.
Okay. Nobody has asked for my CV. So, okay. You know, I say it tongue-in-cheek, yes, that I would like to do the job. Maybe yes, in the future, yeah, they will give me another assignment. But I think first, Nigeria should express gratitude appropriately to Professor Mahmood Yakubu. It's not an easy job. To have been in that chair for 10 years is a lot. And to the best of his ability and the ability of his team, he has tried what he has to do. Opinion will be divided. in terms of the assessment of 25, and that is expected. So you can take a vacation, retire, and move on. I think he's still young enough to go back to the university and still continue to contribute to the society in that regard. President Tinubu has given him a national honor. I think it's also well-deserved, yes, in my opinion. Other people may have a different opinion. Number two, as for May Agbamuche-Mbu, well, naturally, yes, we would like a situation where somebody from our camp, yes, because she used to be part of this family, she was editor, this day lawyer, and she has had very significant experience within the system. And I was arguing that apart from the fact that it would be nice, in fact, to have a woman, yes, as head of INEC. And it will be the first time, yes, that government will be doing that. And, you know, President Tinubu will score a first in that regard. But there are other considerations beyond the gender. The other thing that works in her favor to be made permanent is the fact that she's an insider. And I was arguing earlier on that, look, maybe it's about time you took somebody from within the system, yeah, to learn how to do the job. But it's a very political, you know, job. Persons who take that job will be politically exposed, and there will be many contestations, either in terms of region or in terms of background and all of that. Perhaps competence is often the last consideration in choosing the INEC chairman of Nigeria. The third point is that we would like President Tinubu to act swiftly. Yes, absolutely. Because there's a lot of speculation, you know, lobbying. Everybody wants to be INEC chairman, including the speaker, who may have withdrawn his proposal in favor of May Agbamuche-Mbu. But, you know, the president has to be decisive, and he has to take a decision quickly, and so that we don't keep speculating. Number 4 point is that the major issue is electoral reform. Yeah. All of those issues that civil society have put together and activists have put together under the rubric of electoral reform. We must do it, and the time is now, because there are issues in terms of electoral framework that we have to deal with. All right. And commitment of President Tinubu to ensuring that 2027 is not about partisanship, it's about delivering to the Nigerian people free. To our May Mbu as well as the chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu. Let's now take reactions trailing the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji's resignation following allegations of certificate forgery. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu accepted his resignation on Tuesday, ending months of controversy over credentials he submitted during his ministerial confirmation. Presidential spokesman Bayo Ononuga confirmed that Nnaji resigned in a letter thanking the president for allowing him serve Nigeria, claiming he has been a target of blackmail by political opponents. An investigation by the Premium Times revealed Nnaji did not complete his university education and that both the bachelor's degree and NYSC certificate he presented to Tinubu, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the DSS, and the Senate were allegedly forged. Before his resignation, a federal high court in Abuja dismissed Nnaji's request to stop the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, from releasing his academic records. The minister's camp alleged that Premium Times had been paid 100 million naira bribe by the Enugu State Government to conduct its investigation. However, the publication's editor-in-chief defended their integrity on live television, asserting that the report was not a payoff, but the result of a tip-off received from a whistleblower.
The spokesperson for the minister accused us of receiving 100 million naira from the Enugu State Government. Of course, he's going to prove that in court. We are not a newspaper that you can unduly malign. You know, we've built our integrity for close to 15 years. And no one, we've done a lot of great stories, and no one has ever accused us of us. People know us for that. And so we'll meet in court. He will bring his evidence and tell us how the money was given and how it was received. A whistleblower had sent us an email to our newsroom email to raise concern and to alert us to some discrepancies in the minister's claim. And the whistleblower appealed to us to investigate that he or she, we don't know the person, is confident that if we do diligent investigation, we will be able to uncover something shocking. In 3 different correspondences, the university says it didn't issue the certificate. I mean, correspondence to us by the Vice Chancellor, a letter to us today by the registrar of the university, and then a letter to the Public Complaints Commission. The university says it didn't issue the certificate.
Well, that was the Premium Times editor-in-chief. His defense of their investigative journalism highlights the tension between media accountability, political pushback, when powerful figures are exposed. Uche Nnaji's resignation marks yet another controversy in President Tinubu's cabinet, raising questions about the vetting process for ministerial appointments. Well, let's take some tweets. And if you can pull up some tweets here, I'd read some. This is from Olufemi, who wrote, Jeffrey Nnaji has tendered his resignation, but resignation alone does not address the gravity of the matter. Forgery is a criminal offense, and submitting false statements under oath, as he allegedly did in support of the documents presented to the Senate for screening, constitutes perjury, a serious breach of both law and public trust. Well, beyond resignation, he ought to be held accountable under the law, including a full refund of all salaries and entitlements he has received. The principle of justice and accountability demand more than a mere voluntary exit. The law must take its course. If you can pull up another ex-user there, this person, Arthur, wrote, it's embarrassing that someone could become a minister without proper verification of academic credentials. How did this pass through vetting? And what does it say about the integrity of those responsible for screening nominees? I mean, these are some of the questions that they've been asking. I'll take another ex-user who wrote, this is exactly how a government that understands accountability should operate. Swift, decisive, and devoid of political sentiment. Accepting his resignation sends a clear signal that public office is a trust, not a refuge for scandal. But it shouldn't stop there. If the allegations have merit, legal action must follow. Resignation is not atonement. The rule of law must assert itself. Rufai, I'm coming to you on this story. I mean, I think that, you know, the idea of accountability really is what a lot of Nigerians are asking us. You can see from some of the, posts that I've read on X. Your thoughts on all of the stories, especially given the fact they were saying that they had offered him 100 million naira bribe for the story, but he said it's from a whistleblower. Your thoughts?
With due respect, we have been in this business for a while.
Yeah.
The truth is, when you call out corrupt politicians, they will lie against you. The first and easy lies, they will say you collected money. The second lie is the political lie. So we are not surprised that the representative of the minister had to make such an allegation. Anyway, Mr. Majid and his team will go ahead and defend themselves in court. But I also saw the spokesperson of the minister struggle so much because, you see, like my very dear friend and great brother, Minister Wiki, will say, if he didn't dare, he didn't dare. Or you look at that certificate. Look at that
right
NYSC certificate.
We can see.
Do you know that there's a document that came out, apart from the fact that the investigation did not start today?
No, they
it started with People's Gazette.
Yes.
did not start today.
No, they
it started with People's Gazette.
Yes.
And what they are claiming, the minister is claiming that the document they gave People's Gazette from the school, the registrar, they said, that I went to the school. They have debunked that document because the registrar now has said that does not exist. And me, I know the backstory of what transpired. I've heard what transpired. Secondly, look at that document. There's a document that came out recently, Oji, where the school wrote the minister a letter in 1985 saying that you didn't pass your final exam, virology, MCB for something. And there's also a written letter by the minister as a student, then Uche Nnaji, saying that I will take that exam in June 1986. Those documents are in public glare. Premium Time also posted them, although they didn't give credit to the source that brought out those documents. So, Oji, does it make sense?
I want to ask you, Rufai, since you followed this story, do you recall that I believe that there's an affidavit that he had submitted back in December 2023, I believe that he had claimed that he never received any certificate from Nsukka.
Yes, he's also in the Premium Time reporting, yes. But they are trying to deny that. So what his team came to do yesterday was just to say they should give us our transcripts, secondly, and then to hold on to that initial response the registrar gave People's Gazette, which has been debunked as a lie now. Oji, how can a man that said that in May 1986, in June 1986, we were going to write his final supplementary exam, virology, MCB, something, now graduates from NYSC in that 1986 May, before the June he was supposed to write the exam? That document is out there in public glare. So kudos to both People's Gazettes and what's it called that did the job. So I'm not surprised that they are and Premium Times, that they are mudslinging Premium Times. Is what we get for doing our job. And that's the height of journalism. But, like everybody has said on the panel, the case must be taken to court, Oji.
I believe so too.
The case must be tried out in courts. The fact that somebody has resigned should not be pardoned.
This is it. This is the main point. I mean, the fact that he also resigned, I think, is showing some sort of accountability, and he's saying that he doesn't want any sort of disturbance. But we need to follow up on this case, and we will follow up on the story. This is the second minister that we are hearing now in this cabinet that was not screened properly. Well, in another development, the requests by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the House of Representatives to approve a plan to borrow $2.35 billion in external capital to finance part of the 2025 budget deficit and refinance Nigeria's maturing Eurobond has been met with reactions. The borrowing plan includes $1.23 billion provided in the 2023 Appropriation Act to part finance the budget deficit and another $1.12 billion to refinance a Eurobond maturing on November 21st. This latest request comes just months after the last major external borrowing approval on July 23, 2025, when lawmakers authorized a $21.5 billion plan to fund shortfalls, infrastructure, and key sectors. Well, according to Debt Management Office data, as of September 2025, actual disbursements total over $10 billion. I mean, this is incredible. Tinubu is saying that, the funds will be raised through Eurobonds, loans, syndications, or even bridge financing. But this has garnered a lot of reactions, and I'll take some posts on X. This is from Ade Banjo, who wrote on X, so Nigeria's solution to the 2025 budget deficit is more debt, $2.35 billion foreign loan plus $500 million sovereign sukuk, because apparently borrowing has become a national pastime. When will we start fixing revenue and cutting waste instead of mortgaging our future? Another ex-user, Pump, wrote, these loans fund deficits and infrastructure repaid by future tax revenues. Current and future generations bear the burden, risking economic strain if mismanaged, as seen in Nigeria's rising debt, $45.9 8 billion unless productivity and governance improve, and that's the main point.
The man who oversaw one of Nigeria's most controversial elections has just resigned quietly. They call it a proposal or a personal decision, but Nigeria know better. You do not step down from that kind of power without pressure. Here is a strong opinion. This is not about personal reasons. This is political strategy. Tinubu camp is trying to replace him with someone more trustworthy to the system ahead of 2027. They want to rebuild INEC image not for the people but for political control. Tinubu minister resigned over forgery. Now let's talk about the minister who just resigned after being caught with fake credentials. They want you to think this shows accountability, that Tinubu is serious about corruption. But here is the counter narrative. This is not accountability, it is damage control. The government is sacrificing one scapegoat to clean its image. Because let us be honest, who screened him? Who approved him? If you dig deep, the problem is not one man's forgery. It is the system that rewards fraud and protect the connected. Then comes the Onyekpo Cadet $2.35 billion loan, illegally mismanaged or diverted. At a time when Nigeria cannot even afford food, billions are being moved around like whose coins. Some say this money trail will expose a deeper fight within Tinubu government. Power blocks clashing over control of 2027 campaign fronts. Others say it is another distraction, a show of anti-corruption, while bigger deal happen behind closed doors. The truth Nigeria must see. Let's face it, this is not coincidence. The INEC chairman exists, the first minister, and the $2.35 billion scandal are not part of a pattern. They are part of their plans. This government is either falling apart or quietly reshaping itself for total control. Either way, Nigeria must stay awake, because while we hush on social media, they are rewriting the script for 2027. Do not be fooled by resignation or fake reforms. When power starts cleaning itself, it either prepares for war or hiding a criminal. Subscribe, stay informed, and do not blink, because the next headline might be the best cover up yet. Thank you.